Similarities between Tory expectations and abusive relationships. My name is Mike Cashman. If you find what I'm saying interesting or useful, please subscribe to the channel. Now, I do need to say straight away, for the avoidance of doubt, I am not saying that, for example, Tory MPs are physically or sexually abusing their voters. But I'm talking about their approach to political campaigning. You see, if I hear somebody say things like, well, everybody behaves badly, if I didn't have him, it would be somebody worse, I can't expect honesty, what you see is what you get, he is what he is, he's doing his best. If I hear those things, then I suspect I'm either talking to a Tory voter or to somebody who is in an abusive relationship. Because Tory voters and Tory MPs, they are very forgiving, and this has some positives for them. So, they may have an election to choose a leader. Having chosen that leader, the Tories, more so than Labour, for example, tend to say, right, well, I may or may not like that leader, but I'm going to get behind that leader and support that leader all the way through, until the time comes, as it may well do next year, when it's time to have a leadership election and choose a new one. That's a greater focus on supporting the leader than I would say you see in Labour, where you have those contests going on more of the time, not just at the time of a leadership election. So, I can see how this benefits the Tories, but it certainly can be taken to excess, and I think that's what's happening at the moment. This ability to misbehave blatantly and say that you're not misbehaving. So we see that this week, for example, in the case of the Downing Street Party, and people have been wheeled out to maintain a particular line. No COVID rules were broken. I don't have anything else to say. I can't comment on that. So providing no justification of the no COVID rules are broken, and Ros Atkins on BBC has done a great video which goes through the detail of this, which is well worth watching, and I will put a link to it. But without getting too much into the detail, clearly a party was held. People have said ridiculous things. George Freeman was wheeled out to say that he didn't know who was at the party, but the people who were at the party have told him no rules were broken. Well, how did he then not know that they were at the party if they were talking to him? And on any questions on Radio 4, and this is Saturday 3rd of December, Tory MP has come up with the standard slogan, what we need, it's spoken very ponderously, what we need to be aware of is that there were no COVID restrictions in force at the time of the gathering, which were broken. Sorry, I haven't got those words exactly. Do link to the programme if you want to hear. But he stonewalled. He wouldn't be questioned on it. He wouldn't answer any specific questions about the event. And, it's just like poor old Grant Shapps being wheeled out on 23rd of May 2020 to talk about Dominic Cummings, to say he has made a full statement. He stayed in the cottage. He did not move around. This was untrue, so either Cummings lied or Grant Shapps lied. But I have some sympathy for the Tories who are wheeled out to defend the indefensible. As I say, it's a case of, as we've seen on so many topics, the blatant corruption with crony contracts, with Priti Patel bullying, with planning applications nodded through in return for a donation, with cash for honours. It's this ability to blatantly misbehave and at the same time say that you're not misbehaving. This is very characteristic of an abusive relationship. And when you see people who are saying, well, he is what he is, saying about the Prime Minister, he's doing his best. Let's be very clear. He's not doing his best if he's lying, because it's better than lying is to tell the truth. He's not doing his best if he's presiding over money being stolen for crony contracts. So, he's doing his best is not a defence for the Prime Minister anyway, but it's also not true. So I just do encourage you, don't be gaslit by the Tory blatant denials, recognise the facts, and don't believe the story that, well, everybody's just as bad, because they aren't. There are good people in politics. There are some people in the Tory parliamentary party who have better morals and principles than those in the cabinet who have had to mortgage those in order to follow Boris Johnson. So there are alternatives. We don't have to have dishonest politicians in power. We could do better. Don't be gaslit.